Hey, hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Underground Gospel Show. This is a big situation right here because what I planned on doing before I started was taking a drink of water and going to the bathroom. I had a friend, well, I have another guitar player who, gosh, I can't even tell you. This was back in the 70s, in the 1970s, because I know this is evergreen material and you might be watching this in 2017 or um, 2070 or in 2270. Who knows how long this will be online? But he was watching this in the 1970s, and he wasn't watching this, no. But in the 1970s, I asked him one time, "Is there anything you could tell me before you go up on stage?" Because he was a huge fan and influence of mine, or he was a huge influence to me. I was a huge fan of his, and he said, "Yeah, just always make sure you pee before you go up." So since then, I've always made sure that I have peed before I've gone on stage until today. So we'll see how that goes. And usually I get a drink of water before I go up too. So I haven't done that. Anyway, before we get started here, let's go ahead and hit the housekeeping. Welcome to the Underground Gospel Show. Boom, boom, boom. My name is Knight, and I'm going to be talking to you for 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. That won't be an hour. It's going to be a pretty quick show. This is a safe place to hang out. Sorry about hitting my mic there. There's no swearing or trolling. And if you like what you hear, remember to subscribe. Hit that squash that subscribe button. If you can send me a message actually on YouTube. Actually, we are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I'm going to go over here real quick and put down an area. This is how, if you do want to get in contact with me, you can contact me at, I know it's here somewhere. Oh, why isn't it showing up? There it is. So we'll have that little banner. Nope, that's not it. That says send suggestions and favorite songs. Don't care if you do that, actually. Just wanted you to know how to contact me. Um, I guess I don't have one. Oh my goodness. I thought I had one. There it is. There it is. So you can email me at guitarforjesus@musician.org. Probably the coolest email, in my opinion, in the entire world, because it's mine and I'm a fan of Jesus and playing guitar. And what is going on with my shirt? This is strange. I need to pull it this way so you can see my cool little emblem, which is a dove. Anyway, you see the dove on the knight, on the shield also. Let's go back over here to the brand. There we go. So, oh, I was doing welcome and the housekeeping. So you can support what I'm doing with the tip code, which I'm not going to put up right now. You got to go over to my website. My website's at night-music.com. Uh-oh. That means now, since I said that, I have to go back over here and go back over here and hit somewhere over here. I have something that says nightmusic.com. So I'll hit that so that you can see nightmusic.com. Copy it down. I'll wait for you to get a pencil. Okay, if you're still getting a pencil, we'll wait a little longer. Okay. Now you have to find paper. No. Okay. Well, you got a Sharpie. You can just write it on your arm. So that's fine. It'll probably match a tattooer also too. So let's go back to email so that you can send me all that email about how you shouldn't talk about your tattoos. Anyway, back to housekeeping. Go to Night Dash Music for showtimes, links, cool garments, contact email, live show information, how to support me monthly for about a cup of coffee. And actually, if you join my Patreon page, you get these 4 to 6 weeks before anybody else does. I post these every Friday and Saturday night on Patreon. And they're actually go up on Friday, and you can watch them anytime you want to if you're a member of my Patreon page. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait till they go up live on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and then they live on YouTube forever and ever until we get rid of YouTube. and but Facebook stays, I think, 2 days. Twitch, I think, comes down the next day. So let's see. I don't sing, so God can speak directly to your heart. And there are sponsorship info opportunities. If you got a whole lot of money and just need to do it with somewhere. But luckily, with gas prices and the craziness going on in the world right now, you probably don't have a lot of money. So thank you so much to my Patreon pages, Patreon sponsors. And anyway, let's close that down. Let me get to one special thing that I want to do, and I want to thank Jacob. Um, he sent me an email. Actually, I've heard it from Tom too. He said, "Why do you play in 432?" So I tuned my guitar to A432 instead of A440. It's more of a harmony of the universe. I won't get too much into it. It's what they call Vivaldi tuning. But tonight, I am tuned for you, Jacob, and for you, Tom, to 440. So tonight I'm in 440. So if you want to jam along, and actually everything I'm doing is in the key of G. So there'll be G's and C's and D's and ones and fours and fives and yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. So yeah, that's what's going on tonight. Um, let's see. I guess I can get straight into like the message because it's one of the most important lessons I think we as human beings can ever learn, and it really is. If you get this thing right here, life will go up and life will go down. You go through peaks and you go through valleys. I'm in a tremendous valley right now. I probably haven't been in a valley like this in over a decade. And it's my own fault. I did not understand some of the things I was going into. Have you ever got a new job or new position and you find out, oh yeah, I can do this, I can do this, and they're like, oh, by the way, did you know? And no, I really didn't know that. And so that's what I'm dealing with now. Um, I'm dealing with something I didn't know. But luckily, I have I have a wheel of income with multiple spokes. And the other day I woke up. I'm not kidding. These are true numbers. I woke up the other day. I had $9 in my account transferred by one of my streams. I had 77 cents the next day in another stream. I had 27 cents the next day. So you know how they talk about musicians, getting rich and being famous and all that stuff. You do music because you love it. It's not that you're ever going to make. I guess some people make a great amount of income from it. That's the 1%, but it's 99 percenters. We um, we just do it. We love doing it, and I'm not complaining. I have the most. I'm just giving thanks this morning um, for the fact. And let me tell you, while I was giving thanks, my partner and I, she and I started this program, gosh, almost a year ago, where every morning we do affirmations. Well, probably a month ago, month and a half ago, we started giving thanks every morning for things, three things. We've picked three things that we're thankful for. And so today, one of my things was all the technology we have. The fact that I can get on a live stream, that I have computers and lighting and multiple computers and all the technology we have. It is absolutely a blessing. And so I give thanks for that. But I wanted to also talk to you about, and giving thanks is one of the things that ties into with today. So Genesis 1:3 basically say basically says that God spoke light and light appeared. Now, the reason God said, let there be light was obviously the audio was working. So I just want to say that. Being an audio guy, I've always enjoyed that joke because, the audio was working. And otherwise, we would still be in the dark and we wouldn't have anything that we have now. But God spoke light and light appeared. Now, one of the things that God gave us as a gift was the ability to speak. No other animals make sound, but they cannot speak and communicate the way we can. I think I've told this story before. Um, one of the most magical things I've ever experienced as a writer, because I write screenplays, as some of you know, was early in my career. I think it was the first or second screenplay I'd written. I had handed it to a person who was a script supervisor that I knew. Um, but she was on a show that I was working on. I was cast on the show, and she was there, and we were talking. And I mentioned something about my script. She goes, "I wouldn't mind reading one of yours." I'm sure. So I said, "When?" She goes, "Right now. I'll read it at break." So I gave it to her, and she's flipping through it. I'm like, "Oh man, there's no way she's getting this." And she reads this part, and he stops and reaches down and picks up a tissue, and dries her eyes. And then she turns the page a couple more times and she starts to laugh and she looks over at me and gives me a thumbs up, you know. And I'm like, something from my brain went onto a piece of paper that then went into her hand and into her brain and caused her to cry and to laugh. And that to me is miraculous. And that's because of the power of speech. Now, you hear a lot of people who they curse, and it's like, well, it's just words, it doesn't mean anything. It breaks my heart when I hear this because they have no idea what the words in their lives mean. So if you get a chance, always speak life, speak goodness, speak health, speak blessings. Do not curse. Do not give people cursing. Do not speak darkness. Do not gossip. Don't talk about other people behind their back. I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt who said that small people talk about other people, medium people talk about things, but great people discuss ideas. So if you always discuss ideas, um, uh, yeah, you're a great person. So I'm just giving you all this. Take it for what it's worth. I'm going to tell you one other story, and I know I've told this one before. I've told this on stages all over the country. Um, but it's about my son. When he was 8 years old, he hadn't started riding yet. He was still using training wheels. Now his older brother, what got on a bike when he was 3 years old and came back when he was like 20. I mean, he was just gone. He just took to a bike like you can't believe. But his younger brother had training wheels, and so one day my wife and I were walking around, and we are holding him as he was pedaling. We were walking around the block, and I saw a friend of mine who was a real estate agent. So we stopped and talked for a little while and chit chat. And I looked across the street because they'd gone down and crossed the street and were coming back up. And I noticed the fact that my son was looking right where he was. He was looking down at the front wheel. And so finished the discussion across the street and said, "Hey, this is what I want you to do." Now, at this time, we had taken the training wheels off and we were holding him as he was walking, as he was on his bike. And he's like, I said, "Look, this is what I want you to do. I don't want you to look where you are. I want you to look down the road, not at the next street light, but the one past that. You know, we had lights that led up these streets we go by." I said, "I want you to look at the one past that, and I want you to pedal. Just don't pedal real hard, just pedal easily, but just instead of looking here, look down there. Keep your focus where you're going." And so he goes, "Well, hold on to me, don't let go." And I'm like, "I'm not holding on to you." And he stopped and he had gone, probably 10, 15 feet ahead of us. And he's like, "You're not holding me?" I said, "No. Do you remember to keep looking ahead of you? Look where you're going and you won't fall down. It's when you look where you are that you fall down." In fact, my mentor talks about he interviewed, oh, I want to say AJ Foyt. It's somebody, it's a might be what's that other guy? Oh, come on, Daryl Waltrip. And he said, "Look, for all the wins that it was AJ, I'm sorry, but he said, for all the winning that you've done, you know, all the tremendous wins, he goes, what is the number one thing that you can tell somebody um, as far as being a race car driver?" And he said, "The number one thing, never look at the wall." Wait a minute, you've won all these races, you're superhero, NASCAR, Indy, all these you great, don't look at the wall. He said, "No, your car will always follow where your eyes are." And if you notice people, you got to be careful, because if they're driving and they look to see if anybody's next to them, they'll go into that lane a little bit. Or if they go over to see if they'll always move a little bit to where their eyes are going. And you can try this at home. I wouldn't suggest it. Keep your eyes and keep your focus on where you're going. And the same with your speech. Speak about where you're heading. Just recently, I had to give that once again to my partner because of the what I'm going through right now, and I'm going through a valley, like I said. But the reason why, well, isn't important. But was talking to her about something. She goes, How can you even be talking about this? Well, what it is, she loves opals. Well, her birthday is opal. She never had an opal until we started going out, and then I buy her jewelry and stuff like that because I like giving gifts. Needless to say, so I have a invite to a special showing of a guy who has a number of opals, including some black opals. And she's like, How can you even think about that? I mean, we're not going to have the money for that. And I'm like, We don't have the money now for that. But in 2 weeks, we could have way more money than that because we focus on the future. And so let's keep focused on where we're going, not on where we are, because I don't like where I am right now. I'm in a valley and I'm heading up the mountain, and we're going to speak it that we're going up the mountain. And so I think she got it. We'll see. I knows that she's going to get the jewelry and she's going to enjoy that. And this won't even, uh, unfortunately, she will see this because she is a member of the Patreon page. Anyway, uh, see, I guess that's all I wanted to say was that God spoke, let there be light. He spoke a lot of things into existence. He spoke you and I into existence. He spoke your name, and way before you were even born and in existence. So, gosh, it's just wonderful that we have this ability and this power. It's kind of a superpower. So, I'm going to actually it's really funny. One of the things that you do when you're a writer is you create characters and you make them up. And your characters always have two dimensions. They have two sides of a swinging pendulum. And side number one is their superpower. And every one of us, you and me, every one of us has a superpower. We have one we know about, we have one that we're developing, and we have one others see in us that we don't see in ourselves because it comes so naturally. So we have these superpowers. But the problem with superpowers is that they have the other side of the pendulum, the way they swing, and that's their character flaws. Let me give you a couple examples of mine. One of my superpowers is that I'm very positive. I'm an incredibly positive person. Positivity is one of my superpowers. On the other hand, I'm horrible when I'm attacked by negative. I don't take negativity well. Sometimes it can shut me down for months at a time. In fact, earlier in my life, it shut me down for years at a time if I was negative. I would never get over it. Or I did get over it, but it took a long time. So I have to be very careful about the negativity that I allow in my life because it's my kryptonite. It's my flaw. Another one that I have. Let's see. Find another one. Oh, here's a great one. I have this thing called Woo, winning others over. This comes from Strength Finders 2.0. And I've had people say that's the one, if they could have picked one, they would have had. The ability to walk into a room and within 10 or 15 minutes know everybody there and get along with everybody. It's a great superpower to develop really quick associations. The other side of the pendulum, my brothers had friends for 20 years or longer that are still his friends. They still call, they're still hang out together. I don't have anybody after about 3 or 4 years. I move on, and actually, I know of people that I've known for decades, but it's not anywhere as close as it was when I first met them. So the woo, the ability to meet people quickly, has a dark side, and that is you don't develop really deep, long-lasting friendships. That's kind of a it's that's the negative part. That's the kryptonite to the positive part. That's woo. And like I'm saying, I'm talking about a character. We call that a character diamond, to where you have the sparkly thing, but the sparkly thing only sparkles because of the flaw, and it's kind of a an interesting dichotomy to tell you the truth. Let's see if I can give you one more. Oh, here's another one. Strategic. I'm very strategic. I like having a strategy. I like having a plan. Sometimes my plan A becomes my new plan A because things don't pan out all the time. But I always like having a plan. What I don't like are people that fly by the seat of their pants and never have any plan and can't tell you what they're doing in 2 days or what they're doing this afternoon. That's just like, how do you let a day go by with this? But once I said, the strategy and figuring things out and having a plan is my superpower. But the negative side of the pendulum, the other side, is not having a plan and strategy just throws me into all kinds of a funk. So I hope that you get a chance to find out what your strengths are because you have them. But whatever your superpowers are, whatever they are, on the other side of them is going to be your kryptonite. And you got to identify what that is and try to keep that out of your life so that you can keep working within your superpowers. So, that being said, I'm going to speak into your life right now before I play a couple songs. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for our time together. Thank you so much for speaking in these people who are listening to me right now and letting them be here. Bless them, keep them happy and whole. Fill up every area of their life, Lord. Fill up their gas tanks and fill up their cupboards and fill up their storehouses. Fill up their bank accounts and stock markets and give them the wealth that they need and the happiness they need, the joy that they need, and the emptiness that they need, and the rest that they need and the rejuvenation that they need and keep their batteries full and their multi tabs closed down so they can focus on the things in this life that are good, which have probably come from you. So we give you all the praise and glory and honor in the name of your precious Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. So let's play a couple songs. This first one is Chris Thompson song, Tomlin song. Should I do a harmony? Little harmonics at the bend. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Underground Gospel Show. Thank you so much for supporting me and for being here all these years. Thank you so much for believing in Jesus and for letting Him touch your life and to walk with Him. And thank you for being part of the tribe. We love you, we support you, we pray for you, and we believe in you. So have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we'll see you whenever you want to turn me on. Because if you're on YouTube, this is evergreen. You can watch this anytime you want to. And so we just love you and thank you. And so have a wonderful, wonderful. Well, until we see you again. Goodbye.